Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to my hobby blog. Today I'm going to be doing a Stormlight archive, first half of the series ranking video. So I released my Wind and Truth video that blew up quite a bit, and I was very happy to see that a lot of people shared the same ideas as me, or at least the same opinions as me as Wind and Truth. But one thing I should say is that a lot of people gave me shit for saying the ignorant and incorrect thing that I did. So I apologize for saying what I did about Mormons being anti-therapy. I was wrong. So without further ado, how I'm going to do this ranking is I'm going to go book by book, 1 to 2, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm only going to allow one book per ranking, or at least per level, per tier, I guess. Because this is perfect. There's 5, and there's 5 books, so I don't want to complicate it too much. So D is obviously the worst. S tier is like the best, highest rated. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. I already know exactly how this ranking is going to go, so it's not, like, too shocking. I don't think, for those who know me. But for those who don't, I think this will be interesting because this will show a lot of my what I prefer in Stormlight Archive. And as we go through the series, I'll explain it. I will not give any spoilers. This is totally spoiler free. I want everybody to be able to watch this because I think it's informative. The series is finished now, at least the front half of it. So we see at least the full picture of what these 5 books comprise of. I think book 5 will be better on second read, but I think a lot of my issues will be about the same, which is the length and sort of the very over-preachy, I guess, dialogue, and just everything I said in my review. Go watch it if you haven't already. So, Ray of Kings. This is book 1. I'm not going to rate it based off of my first read. This is going to be as objective as possible. I think book 1 is an easy A. I really enjoy Ray of Kings. I honestly kind of love it. The first half is really interesting. It's very world building focused, which I love. I think that's what Brandon really excels at, is his world building. And also the magic system, because in this book, the magic system is just Stormlight right now. As we get through the series, we are introduced to more magic systems. I had to scroll down a bit because I noticed the covers were getting knocked off, and I need to fix this real quick. I apologize. Okay, let's put me over here. All right. So, with that said, I really love the world building of this. The last half of the book, I just love. The characters are amazing in this book. I think I have no problems with any of them. I think Kaladin's story arc is amazing in this book. Shallan's is okay. It's one of my more favorite, I guess, storylines of Shallan's. But that's not saying much. I'm not that big of a fan of Shallan. I think my favorite book of hers will come later. I won't spoil that yet. But I think she's great in her scenes with Yasna and learning about everything with the world, trying to figure out what's going on with all these weird shapes going on in her journal. Like, it's great. I really enjoy that. I love the mystery of it. The antagonists, though, in this book are a little annoying, I think, because mainly talking about sort of the Ghost Bloods, because we know nothing about the Ghost Bloods at this point, but it's just fascinating. I keep realizing I'm like just name dropping all this stuff, but maybe I shouldn't. But Shallan's storyline, I think, is great in this book. The flashback chapters are a little much, I think, for Kaladin. I think half of them could have been reduced to a paragraph, but I mean, that's okay. The length of this book is like perfect for what Stormlight Archive should be. It's right at like 1,000 pages. Yeah, I really enjoy Way of Kings, but it is not my favorite of the Stormlight Archive. Book 2, though, Words of Radiance. This is easily S tier. This is my favorite book. This book is just so epic from beginning to end. I love the continued world building. I love the fight scenes in this book the most out of any series or any books of the Stormlight Archive. I love the character arcs. Shallan flashback, though, is the big kind of anchor to this book, in my opinion. I do not like her flashback chapters whatsoever. They're just really frustrating to read. I don't like her brothers. I don't like Shallan. I understand that Shallan is basically a child through most of these, so I don't put too much blame on her. But she doesn't really get much better for a while after book 2. But I think when it comes to investigating the Ghost Bloods, that is where Shallan is at her best. I think her and Padden are amazing. I love Padden. I love all the non-human characters of the Stormlight Archive. I think Brandon writes his non-human characters much better than the human characters at times. I think the standouts, though, are going to be Dalinar this book. Kaladin, who I want to say like one more character, just so I have 3, but I really liked Adolin as well this book. Adolin really became like one of my favorite side characters. He is so like fun to read. I think he is at his best in this book. Adolin is just a lot of fun. What a himbo. But yeah, so book 3, Oathbringer. This was the first book that I read shortly after it came out. So this is probably what I was the most hype about. For a long time, it was always my favorite book. But I think on my most recent reread, I did the audiobooks. I think the first half of this book is really, really weak, is the issue. So I don't rank it higher than Words of Radiance anymore. Is it better than Way of Kings? I don't think so, but I don't feel like it's a B, is the issue. I think it's, in terms of enjoyment, it's definitely an A at the minimum. But factoring in the first half of this book, I understand people's issues with it. I've read it 3 times now. The first 2 times, I said this book was like a 9.5 out of 10. I love Oathbringer, but on this most recent reread where I was able to read these books within days because I was just reading so much, getting ready for book 5 and just being really excited about Stormlight. And yet again, my pictures messed up again, so I had to fix that. But man, that second half is so fucking good. I really enjoy it from the moment that we enter, I think, part 3. When we go into a particular city and deal with the problems there. That is, like, from there on, I love the book. And the ending of Oathbringer is my favorite of the entire series. It is so epic. I love Dalinar's character in this book. Yes, some of the flashback chapters could have been shorter, but I don't mind them. I think they're great. I don't know, like, I understand why people don't like them, but personally, I love Dalinar in this book. I also really enjoy the interludes in this book, because that is one thing that I haven't really talked about, is the interludes. I really enjoyed the interludes in the first 3 books, but I have not enjoyed any of the interludes, except maybe a handful in books 4 and 5. So more on that later. But I really love Oathbringer. But compared to these other 2, I don't think it holds a light to it at all. So, book 4, Rhythm of War. I had a really tough time reading this on the first time. this was another book where I was about to post a really angry video review when it came out, but I didn't have YouTube yet. I wasn't on YouTube, so I just kind of just had to ruminate for a few months and be like, yeah, no, Rhythm of War really didn't do it for me. And I don't really like any of the storylines whatsoever. The ending is fantastic with what we know. I don't want to give any spoilers, obviously, but yeah, Rhythm of War, I just do not like. I'm going to have to put it in D, which kind of spoils where I'm going to put Wind and Truth. But Rhythm of War, I think, is a lot more teeth-pulling than Wind and Truth. Rhythm of War was the first time that I really noticed the page count issues. And it really felt like Brandon just wanted to have super long epic fantasy books just so he could say that he is the epic fantasy writer. And this book sort of made me rebel against the idea that Brandon should just write however many words he wants, because the length is an issue in this book. A lot of the storylines I don't really care for at all. Kaladin's is just not at all what I wanted to read. I thought it was pretty fun and cool in the beginning when it all begins, but I really do not care after that moment. And I will say I really enjoyed his moment with his father at the end. I don't want to give any spoilers, but I did really appreciate that moment. It was really great. I love how certain plans came to fruition at the end of Book 4 with Teravangian. I thought that was fantastic, although that was spoiled to me like a few hours before I read that chapter the first time, and I was very pissed off. So I think I'm done with the Cosme as well, because I just need to like separate and just kind of get excitement back, because a lot of these books I've been spoiled on. I remember getting spoiled on Book 2 on some aspects of that, getting spoiled on, not really Book 3, because I was able to read that live, but Book 4 I was heavily spoiled on with Teravangian, which really pissed me off. But I think the ending is great overall for Rhythm of War. I think it really sets up the final book really well, sets up the Contest of Champions, the 10-day deadline that we have, but the rest of the book I just did not care for at all. Yasna, Dalinar, Navani. Well, Navani I really like in this book. It does feel a little bit like Brandon Sanderson is copy and pasting his notes at times, but whatever, that's for the fans that actually enjoy studying the magic system, so I'm not going to say he needs to take it out. Like, it's not for me. It's whatever. I don't mind it too much. Now, Wind and Truth. There's only one spot left for it, C. I do feel as if I was a little hard on this book, but I don't think my rating will rise that much at all. At most, I think I could give this a 5 out of 10, but I cannot in good conscience give it any higher than that. It is too long. It is 300 and maybe 400 pages too long. A lot of the storylines just did not progress whatsoever, in my opinion. It really felt repetitive from beginning to end. The ending was very predictable, which is fine on reread, because I have the full picture in my head and can judge the book a lot better and with an informed way. But I think the issues just really, really weigh this down. The format that Brandon went with during day 1, day 2, day 3, and the interludes between each day really hinders the progression of this book. I think he should have done what he did in Rhythm of War, which I actually did enjoy, which is that he spaced out all the different characters into their own parts, really. And he would take a break, and we wouldn't see a character or a POV character for hundreds of pages at a time. It was just like Wheel of Time, which I'm a big fan of Wheel of Time. But, yeah, I think that format just really weighed this book down, because I'm trying, like, I've been thinking about this book a lot, obviously, about every day, every time I get a comment on my video. But I was really sort of surprised. What was I saying? Shit. I'm sorry. So like, I've been thinking about this book a lot. I remembered what I was saying. So I think about this book a lot the last few weeks, probably the last month since I've uploaded the video. But one thing that I really feel confident in is that if this book had the same page count as Words of Radiance, which I think is a little longer than Way of Kings. I think Way of Kings is actually 800 words, or 800 pages, not words. That'd be an incredibly paced book. Every sentence would be insane. I think Words of Radiance is 1,000 pages, and Way of Kings is 800. I think if Wind and Truth was closer to Words of Radiance length, and he didn't do that structure, I think a lot of my issues with this book would have just dissolved. That's really the biggest issue I have. I think people really hyperfixated on the mental health thing. My criticism of that, as I said in that video, I just felt like it was just hammered way too hard. It felt like he just... That was what this book was really about, was all of our characters getting through the mental illnesses or whatever challenges they were having. Because not all of them do. Adolin doesn't have mental illness, obviously. But I think this book just really is weighed down by the length and the repetitiveness of the storyline. I think the storyline, if the page count was to go down, I think it wouldn't be as repetitive. Because, I mean, there's a lot of pages and words in this book, obviously. I think he said the first draft was like 500,000 words, or 480,000 about, and that's just way too much. Yeah, Wind and Truth is just too long. Is kind of what I've been thinking about now. None of the storylines I really enjoyed. Kaladin's I didn't. Shallan I actually really enjoyed. I loved her storyline. I loved the Dalinar and Navani stuff. I didn't really like Gavinor at all. I didn't really think he had to be there. He weighed the book down. The ending, I think, although it was very predictable, I like the idea of it more. I will admit that. I do like the idea that, and for those who haven't read the book, cover your ears for like a minute, but the idea that Taravangian now has all the shards looking at him because Dalinar killed himself and decided to let Odium kind of take honor in, and I think it's Retribution, I believe, is the new shard's name. I really love that, like, on paper, but I think my issue with it was that I was just so wanting the book to surprise me that I was just really disappointed by how it turned out. And I think on reread, this book will be better. But again, it's not going to be that much better. I gave it a 3 out of 10 on my spoiler review. I was very angry at the time, so I will admit that. But I think book 5 is at most a 5 out of 10. Rhythm of War, I don't think I gave a rating for that, but that's like a 4 out of 10 for me. I've read it twice now, so I am very confident in that rating. But yeah, this is my ranking for this. I try to go no spoilers, so sorry if I accidentally said any spoilers as you're reading the book. But yeah, I really enjoy doing this because I haven't done this in so long. I did a Cosmere ranking way back when I first made my channel, and I remember just being such a big fan back then. So it wouldn't even be as accurate anymore to watch that. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and please have a great day. Let me know what you think about my ranking. I'm very curious to see what other people's rankings are. So yeah, have a great day.